2209, 2209 left, 3 southeast. Hands! 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 On the ground! On the ground right now! On the ground!
Any given situation has two types of risk, known risk and unknown risk. Some are much more apparent than others. Let's take a look at one very obvious risk that we see here as someone brings a car to a gunfight in this week's reality check.
$2209, 2209 left, 3 southeast. Hands! 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 On the ground! On the ground right now! On the ground! Get on the ground right now! Get on the ground right now! Hands! Show me your hands! I will pop you right where you at! Show me your hands! Show me your hands! Show me your hands! Hands! Show me your hands! No, you're not! No, you're not!
This video actually took place down in the States, and I'll get it out the way early doors before everyone starts shouting in. The gentleman that is the subject of the initial attack is indeed an off-duty officer. Straight away, we have a car barreling down. Now, for anyone out there that's in any doubt, this is a lethal weapon. A car is every bit as dangerous as a gun when it comes to a use of force continuum and when we come to classify what they were using against an individual. If you accidentally hit someone with a car, that's one thing. There is a certain occupational hazard that goes around with being a road user. If you're driving a car at someone, there is absolutely no question as to what your intentions are with that. As you can see straight away, he goes right for the officer and actually ends up hitting a tree. The disengagement protocol from the officer is actually pretty smart. He gets away from the vehicle, avoids the damage, and you can actually see he's got his radio with him and he's calling in for that help. He calls in his position, his location, and he gets to his house. When he's inside, what's even more significant is the chap in the Jeep follows him. We don't know at this point the mental state of this person. Were they having a breakdown? Were they chemically enhanced? Who knows? Maybe they were a sovereign citizen or whatever particular political leaning that sort of group has. We don't know. What we do know is he tried to run down an off-duty police officer. He then followed him to his home. At this point, do you think we're dealing with a highly dangerous individual? Yes. What threshold are we at? I would argue we're definitely at a lethal force threshold here, or certainly a heavy physical response being required. If you've already tried to run someone over in your car, that's one thing. Could you ascribe that to the spur of the moment bad decision? Sure. Not one I would ever make, but then again, I'm not that person. But when you exit that vehicle and you walk towards someone's property to continue the assault, this is a very dangerous mindset on that individual. Having found out he can't get in, he returns back to his vehicle. This is when the officer comes out with his firearm and he goes into police mode. Now, this is where we have to ensure that the actions we take and the decisions we take are at our best interest and not simply patterns of behavior. The officer takes his firearm, approaches the vehicle, issues the commands on the ground, show me your hands on the ground. The response he gets is nil. highly likely you're going to get a response from those type of commands, specifically because he's already tried to run you over with a Jeep. We're not dealing with a rational person here. But patterns of behavior dictate that's what you do when you're taking down a suspect. And I don't necessarily say that's a bad thing. What he does end up being in, though, is something of an OODA loop. He's now an officer effecting an arrest. He's no longer the victim trying to be run over. He's got his radio, he's got his backup on the way, he's got his firearm, and now he's affecting his role as an officer. But let's take a pause. Is this the best thing he can do right here, right now? The guy just tried to run him over, absolutely. But is best service to him and best service to anyone else going out and getting right in that guy's face with a firearm? Maybe, maybe not. The chap in the car does not respond to the firearm. He doesn't care. So now you've put in a situation where you're holding a guy at gunpoint, pointing a gun at him, and he isn't responding to it. Now what's your choice? Do you shoot? Do you back off? Do you wait for backup? All these decision-making protocols are going through his head. He chooses to continue to engage. The car backs off, and he gets run over again. This is when it goes off camera. We'll hear some shots fired. What we do know is he was run over again and suffered severe damage to his legs. We do know the individual exited the vehicle, and the assault and the fight continued, and he was able to be subdued by the officer with the help of another individual. How much worse would that have been, though, had he have been there, got run over by that car, and then run over again, and then driven off? He could have been lying there dead, severely injured, even worse. Is he in the right? Yeah, the guy tried to run him over in the Jeep. The guy is clearly a felon. The guy's clearly got some issues going on that he's taking care of. But the manner in which we take care of that has to be considered. Had he had backup, had he been in his marked cruiser, had he been in full uniform and everything else that went with it, you can make a case that he's professionally engaged at that point. But even there, what is the rush? We know what the gentleman looks like. We know what vehicle he's driving. We know the registration of this vehicle. Do we need to get him here and now? Or could we pick him up later? I'm not saying there's a right answer to that either way, but it's a consideration. Because by getting that close to the vehicle, by going from victim to then initiating an arrest, he changed that dynamic. But he didn't change the mindset of that individual. You're now engaging with an incredibly dangerous person. And it very, very nearly backfired on him. With our own training, with our own protocols that we engage in, we get stuck in habits of behavior. The comment section alone are often a goldmine of insights into how people's thought processes are. I would do X, I would do Y, you wouldn't catch me doing that. It's fine, I understand. We all have viewpoints, and to be honest with you, seeing someone else's viewpoint often opens vistas of understanding. But we can't afford to let our own viewpoints get us locked into a pattern of behavior which is detrimental to our long-term goals. I'm not criticizing him for what he did. I'm not even saying he was wrong. I'm offering alternatives that we can consider when we reflect on them. That is the point of the reality check. That is the point of why we do these analyses in the first place. That's the point of the discussion that we have in the comment section. Not to be right, not to have the answers, but to ask the questions. Because the questions alone will mean that we're thinking about what we're doing. And when we think about what we're doing, as often as not, the results then start to change when we encounter similar situations moving forward. Thank you once again for joining us on Reality Check, guys. Bit of a hairy ride on this one. Please like, share, and subscribe, especially our YouTube channel. If you're watching that on YouTube, thank you very much. If you're not, link is below, subscribe to that too. As always, I'm on Facebook, Aftermath the Fight After the Fight, Instagram at HavocHound, and Twitter at AftermathMatic. Big thanks as always to the Budo Brothers, budobrothers.com, for cutting edge martial arts training equipment and gear. I will also encourage you to email us at realitycheckbudo@gmail.com. We love to get your emails. We love to get that feedback, and we're also happy to work with you on sponsorship and advertising opportunities. If you have something you want to put in front of up to 4.7 million people, we have the way that we can make that happen for you. Get in touch with us. We'll be happy to help you out. As always, guys, thank you for the likes. Thank you for the engagement. We appreciate every last one of you, and we'll see you on the next one.